Hello everybody, good afternoon and a very warm welcome to our webinar today, all about what's new in the latest release of Sage 50 Payroll, that's version 30.02. My name's Duncan, I'm your host and presenter for the webinar, and I am joined by a team of my colleagues behind the scenes who are standing by ready and waiting to answer your questions. Let's now take a look at what we'll cover in the webinar. So first up, we're going to take a look at installing your update. So for those of you that haven't already done this, we'll give you a closer look at the installation process, and I'll be sharing some top tips to prepare for a smooth installation. We're then going to start to work through the new features and improvements in this latest version, starting with Sage HR leave notifications. So this is a way that you'll be able to import employee updates from Sage HR into your payroll, now with integrated absence notifications. So this will feed in information from leave policies that you've set up in HR if you're using the leave management module. We'll then cover the update to the legislation update service. So we've made some small improvements, making it easier for you to apply mid-tax year changes should we get any short notice changes in the future. And I'll run through some of the other changes in the update, including a change to the way that historical online payslips work and a few other items. We'll then run through some of the further support available to you guys, and we will stick around at the very end just to give you that chance to ask any of your final questions. So that's what we've got in store for you. Let's kick things off with installing your update. Now, this update was released on Monday of this week, on the 5th of August. It's currently an optional update through our automatic update service, but it is planned to become a mandatory update with effect from next Monday, the 12th of August. So it gives you the chance to get yourself prepared now and to get that update installed nice and early. Now, for those of you that have already installed the update, I'm going to run through some top tips to prepare to install, so something to keep in mind for next time. And this is just best practice to ensure a smooth installation and to minimize the risk of any issues occurring when you come to install any update in the future. And for those of you that haven't installed the update yet, I'd recommend that you run through these steps before you do so. So we're going to take a look at this checklist. At number 1, I'm going to show you how to optimize your data. So this runs some maintenance on your database, making sure it's in the best possible condition. Step 2 is to check your program directory so that you can be sure that the update is installing into the correct location on your PC. Step 3 is to back up your payroll data. So better to be safe than sorry. Backup can be a lifeline if anything was to go wrong and corrupt your data. Step 4 is to ensure that you're running the installation as administrator. So make sure you have administrator access rights on your PC. And then step 5, just for you network users, make sure you have installed the update on all connected installations. Now, most of you will install the update via our automatic update service. So I'm also going to show you in the demo where to make sure that that is switched on and how to do a check for updates using that service. But it's also possible to download the update manually from our help center, and you'll find links to do that later on in the handout. So I just want to run through these steps as a demo for you. So if I just bring the slides down, I'm going to start with the optimize option. Now, this is something that you would need to run at the point you open Sage 50 Payroll. So you need to open Payroll directly. If you're an accountant using Bureau Manager, you won't have the option to optimize from there. But if you open from the Payroll shortcut on your desktop, you'll see your list of companies like so. And then when you select a company, you can click the optimize option before you log in. So it's a good idea to do this before any update because it does make sure that your data is in the best possible health. It should only take a few moments. So if I optimize the company that's currently selected, you'll see a message appears on screen asking me to wait while that happens. And then I've got confirmation there that that data has been optimized. You would need to do this separately for each company if you plan to optimize each of them. But once you've done so, you can log in the usual way. I'm just going to set my next pay date as if I'm logging in to run payroll, and that will then take you into your program. Now, second thing I'm going to show you Step 2 is how to check your program directory. So now that I'm logged into a payroll, easiest way to do this is to click onto the help option at the top of the screen and then to come down and click about. This will open up your support homepage, and then under the program details section, you'll need to make a note of your program directory. Now in my example, I've installed Payroll into the default location, so it's in C, program files x86/Sage Payroll. And I would need to check that when I install the update, it's that particular path that's being updated. So make a note of your program directory. If you can't get into this screen, for example, if the update is mandatory, another way to check your program directory is to have a look at your shortcut properties. So you can right click on the Sage Payroll icon and go to properties. And if you take a look at the target that's highlighted, that will also start with your program directory. So see program files x86/Sage Payroll in my example. On to step 3 then. So this is taking a backup, and it's something I'm hoping that all of you are familiar with. Now you can take a backup at any time from the file menu in Sage 50 Payroll. So we suggest you do one before you install an update by going to the file menu and then clicking backup. That will then take you into the backup wizard. For this backup, I would suggest just backing up the files that are selected automatically. So these are the most important files. Click onto next, and then you can choose a path and file name for your backup file. It might be a good idea to keep this somewhere you could access if there was to be a problem with your PC. So maybe an external drive, a network location, or perhaps cloud storage. So I'm going to click onto Browse, and it's taking me to my backups folder where I normally save backups. And for this one, I'm going to slightly rename it to pre-update 30.02. So I know that this was the backup that I took before I updated my software. So I now have that backup saved, and if the worst comes to worst, I'll be able to restore that backup to get all of my data back. Now, step 4 is to run the installation as administrator. If you're doing it through auto updates, the auto update service will make sure that you have elevated privileges, so your PC user can install with admin access. And if you've downloaded from our help center, what you can do to the file that you downloaded is right click it and select run as administrator, and that will ensure that you are running the installation with administrator access rights. And then for those of you on a network, repeat these steps on any other PCs where Payroll is installed. Now, a quick note about the auto updates. To check your automatic update settings, go to the Tools menu. You can come down to Internet Options. And then on the Software Updates tab, we suggest that you choose the Automatic option. So this is to check and download the updates and automatically install them when you exit. There is also a Manual option where you can check manually. And you can check at any time, actually, by going to the Help menu at the top of the screen and clicking Check for Updates. And in my example, because I've already installed the update, it is telling me that I am up to date. So that's my preparation done. I can then close my program. I can get on with installing the update. So you can read more about those 5 steps following the link in the handout, and that will take you to our online guide for preparing to install an update. So next up, you need to download the update. And as I mentioned, most of you will do this using automatic updates. So click Help and check for updates. Or from next week, when it becomes a mandatory update, you'll see a prompt at the point you try to open your payroll. And from there, you'll be prompted to download and then go on to install the update. Sometimes things like firewalls can block the automatic updates feature. So the other option is to download it manually from our help center. And again, there's a link on the handout to do that. Or if you go to our help center, you'll find the link from the install section. Once it's downloaded and you run the installation file, you'll see some screens similar to these. So you will need to accept a license agreement in order to continue with the installation. And once you've done that, the installation will detect the path that it wants to install the update into. And this is where you would compare it with the program directory that you noted earlier. So as you can see on my screenshot, it is showing C program files x86/Sage Payroll. So I would click yes to update that installation. Or if for some reason it was detecting the wrong path, you can click no, and then you can browse to the program directory that you noted earlier. Once you've done that, it'll then take a few minutes to copy the necessary files and to update your program, and you'll get a confirmation message at the end confirming when the installation's complete. Your next steps then after installing is to open up your payroll using the existing shortcut, select your company and click OK to log in, and then you'll see the message on the right there. Please wait while payroll updates and optimizes your data. Now that can take a few minutes depending on where your data is located. So have a bit of patience and wait for that to finish. And then once the data is upgraded, you'll be prompted to sign in the usual way. One final check once you're signed in to make sure that you are on the most up-to-date version is to check your version number. So if you click Help and then About, you're looking for a version number that starts with 30.02 under Program Details. And as long as your version number has updated to that, you are then on the latest version. So finally, a note for network users. So if you do have multiple installations of Sage 50 Payroll connected to shared data on your server, it is important that you update every PC that has Payroll installed. If you try to access your Payroll from a PC that hasn't been updated, you may see the message shown there on the slide. And that's just telling you that the data is from a newer version and you do need to install the update before you can log in. So download it from our help center, or you should see a prompt with automatic updates to install it. So that's your installation done, and that's you all updated onto version 30.02. So what we're going to look at for the rest of the webinar is what's changed in this new version. And we're going to start with a brand new feature, an enhancement to the current functionality where you can integrate Sage HR with Sage Payroll. And this is the introduction of leave notifications. Now, in order to benefit from this feature, you will need to have set up online payslips and integrated with Sage HR online services. And for any accountants in the audience, if you have online payslips with our online bureau service, you won't be able to access this particular feature. But do stay tuned. You may have clients that do their own payroll that might be using this feature. And also, we'll tell you more about what's in the update later on in the webinar. But for everyone else, if you are set up with online payslips, you then have the option of subscribing to the leave management module in Sage HR in order to manage your employees' time off. And that's where the leave notifications come into play. Now, before I give you a demo, I want to show you a quick promo video giving you an overview of this new feature. So I'm going to share a video with you, just a couple of minutes, and then we'll be back to resume the demo. Introducing Sage HR Leave integration with Sage 50 Payroll. The effortless way to streamline your payroll process and boost accuracy. Employees can easily request time off through the Sage HR web platform or mobile app, making it simple to manage their leave anytime, anywhere. With real-time access to their leave balances and a shared calendar, employees stay informed about their time off allowances and can see who else is on leave. Team managers can approve time off requests digitally, no matter where they are. And once approved, this data flows seamlessly into Sage 50 Payroll. Payroll managers receive real-time updates of approved leave data, eliminating the need for holiday spreadsheets, paper forms and ad hoc emails. Sage HR Leave Integration addresses the needs of every role in your organisation. Employees can quickly book time off and stay informed of their leave status. Team managers can view the absence policies assigned to their employees and can swiftly approve or reject leave requests. HR managers have total control over absence policies in Sage HR and can ensure that once approved, real-time absence data is available to payroll managers. Payroll managers access up-to-date and accurate absence data, cutting admin time and minimising discrepancies. Business owners can ensure accurate payroll, access detailed reporting, and be confident that their teams collaborate effectively. Experience enhanced accuracy, greater collaboration, and improved efficiency with Sage HR Leave Integration. Streamline your payroll processes and focus on what matters most, your business. Discover more at sage.com. Sage HR Leave Integration. Simplify your payroll today. So there you go, that's the leave integration, or the leave notifications in a nutshell, as part of your integration with Sage HR. So what I'm going to show you in the demo is a little bit more of the end-to-end process. So for those of you not familiar with the leave management module in Sage HR, we'll have a quick look at how that works from an employee's point of view and also from the employer. And then we'll have a look at how the leave notifications work in payroll, given that real-time view of approved absences in HR. So first of all, what is the leave management module? So it's one of the many add-ons that you can add to Sage HR, and it's there to help you manage time off taken by your employees. Allows you to manage and keep track of your staff's time off in either the web portal or the Sage HR mobile app. So it allows employees to request time off. The time off approver can then approve that either in the app or on the web portal. Absences can all be viewed on a shared calendar for managers and for administrators. And there's a range of reporting on all of the different time off policies and time off taken by your employees. Now, when it comes to the notifications in payroll, the new absence notifications can be pulled through from Sage HR and viewed in your payroll software. It's part of the import employee data option that can also be used to import updates to personal details and bank details, as well as starters and leavers that you've added in HR. And this should really help you with processing absences in your payroll software, giving you an easy view of those approved absences that have been entered in HR. Now, it is important to understand that it will not actually populate or create the absence in your payroll. That is something you would still need to do yourself, following your current processes, but it gives you that convenient, up-to-the-minute view of approved absences from your online HR system. So screenshot there on the slide is just showing you some absence being approved in HR, which I'm going to show you in the demo, and that is what feeds through to the import employee data screen there in payroll. So as promised, I'm going to give you a closer look at this one. So let's just bring those slides down again and jump back to a demo. So we're going to start off from the employee's point of view. So I am currently logged in as an employee. This is the employee portal. Might be familiar to you if you get your pay slips through Sage HR online services. And when you have the leave management module, you have some extra options. So as an employee, you'll get a view of calendar showing your own absences. And if it's been set up to show your team's absences as well, you'll see kind of a shared calendar, as well as sort of detailed time off requests that you've logged yourself. So I'm just going to start this off by requesting some leave. So I can see some of my leave balances here on the right-hand side. And on the dashboard, there is a widget to request time off. So if I click onto that option just there, Amelia's going to take time off from the holiday policy. It's going to be a multi-date absence, and I've set this leave policy up to be recorded in days, but it is also possible to create them in hours as well. And we're just going to put the dates of the leave. So a from and a to date being the 14th of August through to the 21st. So they can add any details that they might want the time off approver to see. And then to request this absence, it's just as simple as clicking submit. So as you can see, that time off request has now been sent for approval, and the employee would receive a confirmation email or notification once it's been approved. And you can see now at the view of the calendar, we've got holiday awaiting approval. So it's in this faded blue, and then it's over to a time off approver to then go ahead and approve that absence. Now, a time off approver could be an HR administrator, it could be a direct manager or a team manager, it can even be specific employees. You can tailor your time off policy settings to your own needs. And I'm just going to jump over to a time off approver profile. This is Oliver. This is Amelia's manager. So I've set up direct managers to be the time off approvers. And if I just refresh the dashboard for Oliver, you'll see that he's got a task just here saying that Amelia has requested holiday for these 6 days. It's awaiting approval. I can either go ahead and approve it immediately, or I can view details of the leave, can have a look at time off balances, etc. See who else might be away from our team at this time. And I've decided that yes, I'm going to approve it. Can write a message, and we can, if we want, notify the employee that that's been approved. Now, once the leave is approved, that's when it's available to be imported to payroll as a notification. And that's what I'm going to show you in just a few moments' time. Now, it's not just holidays. You can set up leave policies for any other reason, really. And I've got one set up for sickness. Now, in this particular scenario, the team manager is going to record the sickness. So if I just take you to the calendar for this team manager, you can see that I can request time off on behalf of people in my team. So Leo has called in sick. I'm going to record the details against my sick day policy. This one again is a multi-date sickness. So we're going to pop the relevant dates in. So rang in sick for the full week. And then I could pop some details in. So Leo has self-certified this particular sickness. So that is then submitted. And you can see right now, if I just hover over the last couple of days, it is awaiting approval. But I am also the time off approver. So I could click into this absence and I could immediately approve it. I can choose whether to notify or not. So maybe I won't in this instance. And we then have approved sick leave also recorded on the diary. And as a team manager, I've got a view of upcoming absences as well. So I've got some holiday coming up for some of my employees. And obviously historical absence that's been entered into HR. Now from this point, because we've approved the absence, we're going to switch over to payroll. So bringing these down and bringing my payroll up on screen. There's a task at the start of your pay run to import employee data. Some of you might use this if you have online pay slips and you use it to keep your employee records up to date. It can also be found from the process map. So if I just switch the process map on by changing the view to a process map view, you can see we've got import employee data down here. It will prompt you to take a backup. So if you don't have a recent backup, I'd strongly recommend that you take one. And that will then go away and check to see if we have any information that we can import from HR. So the new section here is absence notifications. So if you do have the leave module in HR and you've recorded an approved absence, you'll see that there are absence notifications to import. going to click onto that just to see the details. And you can see I have a number of approved absences for various employees. So we've got the sickness absence for Leo that we've just entered, and we've got Amelia's holiday as well. So we've got the from and the to dates. And I also have some absences that have been amended. So there's been a change to this holiday that was previously approved. And I've got a new holiday for one of my other employees. Now, what you do at this point is you decide whether or not you want to import these notifications into Payroll. And if you do so, that information can then be viewed from the relevant employee record. So if there's an absence type that you're not interested in Payroll, you could select any entries for that absence type and reject the data. But for absences that you do want to bring into Payroll, so you can see the notifications, you would select the absences and you would click Import. Now, you can apply filters as well. So I have got a holiday in the future here. So if I was only interested in seeing the notifications relevant to the current calendar month, I could apply a filter where the date is less than the 1st of September. And that's just showing me absences that started earlier than September. And in this case, I'm going to import all 3 of these. So I'm going to tick the box and then going to click Import. Are you sure you want to continue? So we're going to go ahead and click Yes. It then imports the absence notifications and they can then be viewed within the employee records. So these were the absences that were imported. I'm going to click onto Cancel. I still have that future one that I plan to import maybe next month, but let's have a look at where that information has actually gone. So we know that Amelia took some holiday. Let's go into Amelia's record and click the Absence tab. Now, it doesn't record anything on the absence diary. The area you need to look at is this Notifications, just down here. And as you can see, we've got that holiday from and to, got the number of days in this case, and we've got a checkbox that we can tick just to record the fact that we've dealt with that, we've actioned it. So this could be actually recording the absence in Payroll if you wanted it recorded in both systems, or it could be just a prompt for you to pay the appropriate amount of holiday pay. It really depends how your holiday schemes work and your particular setup. But once I'm happy to have dealt with this, I can tick it as actioned and that will remain ticked in the notification record. Now, the other place you can view this is within the Enter Payment screen. So if I just select Leo, who is the employee that has been off sick, and just jump into the Enter Payment screen for Leo. If you go to SSP/parental leave, you will also see the notifications button. So I can click onto that now, and it will show me any absences that have been imported for Leo. So it's telling me I've got sickness between these dates. And actually, that's prompted me to take a bit of action because I now need to record the absence so that we can calculate any SSP due. So I've got the details now entered. I'll jump back into my notification and I will mark that as actioned. So that's how your notifications work. The last thing I just want to show you is a handy report. So if you wanted a view of all absences that have been imported, and you can specify your own date range for this, you can run a brand new report from the main reports option. You will find it in the absence folder here on the left hand side, and it's the Sage HR absence notifications report. And if I just run this now, I will just run it for the current month, but you could put a date range of your choice in. And what you can see here are absences I've imported. So we've got some holiday, got some sickness. This was the approved holiday that was amended, so I can see what it was and what it's been amended to. We've then got some volunteering leave and some sick day leave down here. And it shows me if I've marked that as actioned or not. That's about it for the HR leave notifications. But just to give you a little recap on that. So it is approved leave that you've approved in Sage HR that can be imported via the import employee data option. You can find that from either the process map or from your payroll tasks. So as highlighted there on the slide. We then saw that new tile in the bottom right corner for absence notifications. So if there is anything approved that you haven't yet imported, you can click onto that tile, and then you've got the choice of whether you reject that absence because you don't need to see it in payroll at all, or whether you import it so it's then attached as a notification to the relevant employee. And a couple of places you can see it from the absence diary and also from enter payments on the SSP parental leave tab. And if you do want to know more about the leave management module, we'll give you an opportunity to request more details at the end of the webinar. So moving on from the leave notifications, there are some other new features and improvements that I just want to let you know about. So the next one is all around our legislation update service. Now, you'll probably remember this from April of this year. There was quite a short notice change to national insurance rates where it went down from 10% to 8% announced in the spring budget. And as such, we used the legislation update service to enable you to quickly and easily update your legislation in payroll. Now, we've made a few improvements to that service based on your feedback, particularly for those users that had multiple payrolls. So a couple of enhancements to the service will be, if we do need to use it in the future, is that you will now have a choice to either update just the company that you're logged into or all companies, whereas before it did automatically try to update all companies with any new legislation. And we've also removed the need to be logging in with the same username and password into each company. So if you do choose to update legislation for all companies using this update service, it will update them all. It's not dependent on having the same manager password or anything like that. So a reminder of how to check that legislation update. It's from Tools and Check for Legislation Updates. I would just mention there are no new legislation updates at this moment in time. But we do have a new government and there will be an autumn budget announcement in a few months. So if this needs to be used in the future, hopefully that will make your lives a lot easier. You can read more about online legislation updates if you're interested from the link on the slide. Okay, a few other changes, sticking with the legislation theme. We've added a new tool to database utilities, which will allow you to refresh the legislation tables in your payroll. Now, this is a tool that would only ever need to be used on the direction of customer services if there had been perhaps an issue with your data. In the past, we used a bit of a workaround to achieve this task, which was changing your process date into a future tax year and then changing it back to the current tax year. But we've changed the behavior of the program so that won't reset the legislation. What you would need to do now, if it's ever needed, is to jump into database utilities, which is the same place you can run a repair and compact if you've ever done that before. And if you check on the tools menu, there is a new option to reset legislation. So like I say, many of you won't need to use that, but if it's needed, it's now there in database utilities. Okay, two more changes just to cover off. So the next one is around historical payslips. So I'm sure a lot of you here use online payslips in Sage 50 Payroll. And we made a change a few versions ago, which removed the notification when historical payslips were being uploaded. And the main driver of that change was that when people were uploading a lot of historical payslips, their employees would then be bombarded with emails, getting a notification for each and every pay date within that date range. But we did have some feedback. Again, we do react to your feedback, and we've made a change that will give you the option to send a notification email if you want to when uploading historical payslips. So it's a new checkbox in the upload process, and on the slide there, we've just included an image of a notification. So I'm going to quickly show you this one. If I just bring the slides down again. So here's a bit of a use case for it. I've completed my July payroll, and I've realized that absent-mindedly, I forgot to upload the pay slips for the 31st of July. So I don't really want to restore back to upload them. I'm going to do it via the online services settings by uploading historical pay slips. But I still want to notify my employees that they have a pay slip available. So this is where this new feature comes in. So if I go to my company tasks and jump into online services settings, step 5 is where you would come to upload historical pay slips. So we're going to go on to that now. I'm going to enter my July pay date. These are the pay slips I forgot to upload, and it's just the one per employee. So when they get a notification, they will only get one email each. I'm going to select all of the employees. It confirms here that there's one pay slip each. And then I've got this checkbox to notify employees when pay slips are available. So we've got that selected. I then click onto publish pay slips. And now the employees will get their email notification. And if they're using the mobile app, they'd also get a push notification to tell them that a pay slip is available to them. So another small enhancement, again, based on our customer feedback. And finally, one last change to tell you about is in relation to student loans. So it is now possible in version 30.02 to amend the start date of a student loan and the plan type when it's already been processed. Previously, there was a workaround to doing this by setting your process date into the future, a bit like the workaround for resetting legislation tables. This makes the process a bit easier. So if you made a mistake with the start date, you're looking to correct your payroll records, you can just go ahead and do that now by changing the student loan plan type or the start date mid-year. And you can read more about that change again by following the link on the slide. So that does just about bring us to the end of the demos. What I would like to do before you go is to let you know about some of the further support that we have available to you. So we do run webinars on a regular basis, and some of our upcoming sessions include repeats of this session, What's New in 30.2. We have one on mastering mistakes. I've got a recent one on online pay slips, if you want to catch a recording of that one. And we will have National Payroll Week specials. That's the first week in September. So do look out for some brand new webinars coming soon. You can find all of our upcoming webinars and recordings on our hub at sage.co.uk/webinars. We also have some fantastic online resources for you in the form of our Help Centre, which you can access by clicking any help icon in Sage 50 Payroll or in your browser, go into sage.co.uk/help. From there, you can read all of our support guides. You can find out what webinars are upcoming. And if you do need to contact our support team, just choose the topic you need help with and look for the Get in Touch link. And that will give you the best contact method to get through to our team of experts. As well as that, we have Sage University available at sageu.com, where you can get stuck into some e-learning courses, online certification and bite-sized learning on a range of payroll topics and other Sage software. So take a look at that, sageu.com, and see what is in it for you. Hello again, everyone, and thank you for those of you that sent our questions through. It looks like we've answered the majority of those. So big thanks to the helpers behind the scenes. We're going to call it a day there, as we have reached the end of the time available. So I just want to say one final thank you for joining us at the webinar today. I hope you found the webinar interesting and useful, and we do look forward to seeing you on some of our other webinars in the near future. But from myself and the team, it's goodbye for now.